This is the Choppin It Up show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. And now, here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening, and I thank God for my unconquerable soul. Welcome to the Choppin It Up show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is August 11th, 2015, 6 o'clock on the West Coast and 9 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live and listening in podcast form, whether through iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, our website, Twitter, Facebook, or wherever you are on the internet this evening and in the future. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. All right. Thanks again for everyone listening tonight. Welcome back to the Choppin' It Up show and to the Marching Podcast Network. We are in a new month of August. I'm happy to be with you. We are broadcasting again on our backup night, on our B night, if you will, Tuesdays here on the Marching Podcast. We will broadcast every Tuesday this month as we did in July with some great interviews. Hello to you if this is your first time on the broadcast. We hope you enjoyed the show and tell your friends. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on the Blog Talk Radio page. Subscribe to us on Facebook and follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. Very quickly, make sure to listen to our Director Series podcast this month here, TBA. I do believe, though, we will have something the 22nd, or the 23rd, I believe. I'm going to say the 23rd and the 30th is when the Director Series will be, but I am getting a little ahead of myself, so I don't want to solidify that, but it will be coming up on our normal days, Sundays, here on the Marching Podcast Network. We'll have the Director Series with our resident expert, Dr. Kevin O. Davenport. Good to see him and talking about his outstanding book, Practical Techniques for Building the High School Marching Band, okay? So very, very important stuff, very, very good stuff. We had a great turnout before and a lot of good young directors listening to that. And a lot of folks got the book, as in myself as well. We'll be talking about 2 series this year, and I'm sure that we'll have a feedback session. But that, again, you will find out all that information by following here the Marching Podcast Network. So we appreciate all those inquiries about the Director Series podcast. It will be coming up this month, and we'll give you guys all the information that you need for the Director Series. All right? So I'll turn off our music now as we get into tonight's show. Tonight we chop it up with Anthony K. Buckson, all right? A.K.A. Buck, or Buckmaster, if you will, all right? Buck is one of the band family, and I will let a little bit out of the bag tonight. I met Buck in '96 in my first stop of my band career. A lot of you know that I crossed over, if you will, into the wonderful oasis of what is known as the Royal Order of Trump Funk in the sonic boom of the South in Jackson State University in Mississippi. But, of course, a lot of folks know that I went to Johnson C. Smith first. I was not going to follow in my father's footsteps. I was not going to follow my family's footsteps and retreat and go to Jackson State. It was just not happening. I was going to a school where I could make my own name, start my own process, and I selected Johnson C. Smith, and I met Buck there. I met Mr. Buckson there at Johnson C. Smith. Shout out to Mr. Duncan C. Gray. Shout out to you, Mr. Gray. And shout out to the IIOS, the International Institution of Sound, in 1996. All of the folks that marched with us that year, shout out to you. Much love and respect wherever you are over the internet. Hopefully you guys are listening tonight. Send out the information to everybody. But yes, if you were there and marched with us in 96 there at Johnson C. Smith, shout out to you. I was happy to march with the people I did. Something I kind of got into in the Chop It Up with Damien, where marching at Smith was different at Jackson State, obvious from the level of musicianship, but everyone was a family there. So it didn't matter, what instrument you played. And because the band was small, we did not have a huge wind section. It was just easier for people to hang out with one another. Shout out to Sammy, shout out to Pookie, shout out to Steve, and shout out to Corey. Forgive me if I'm forgetting names, but basically everyone was not in the trumpet section. I know Tyrekus, shout out to Tyrekus, a.k.a. Frog. Me and him were in the trumpet section. We hang pretty cool. And then DJ, shout out to DJ, who was way more straight edge than Frog and I were. We ended up, Frog and I were hanging around with the rest of the band. Steve played trombone, Corey played sax. A lot of the guys were in the Funk 5 Mob, which is the percussion section. We all hung out as a family, whereas at Jackson State, a lot more folks where you were in that section, you ended up hanging out with. You know what I mean? Like your closer friends just were naturally the people who were around you most in most practices. And because of the size of Jackson State's band, you just pretty much follow with the folks in your section. At Smith, though, all of us, it was just a huge mob of us, and we were close. And that's probably the best thing that I remember about Smith, and that's the best thing I remember about marching at Smith was the family aspect. We did not have any sectional divisions, if you will. All of us, loved each other all the same, and, we, uplifted each other as much as we could, despite being in different sections. So, that's one aspect that was really cool about marching with Smith. So I was able to hang out with Buck, who, played trombone. And speaking to the level of musicianship there at Smith, I was there, of course, as a music major. Well, of course, T.D. Hollins and a lot of even Chris Jones, shout out to Goldberg, a.k.a. Chris Jones, and a lot of other people. It affected your tenure there at Smith because, you were hoping that they would get a music major there at Johnson C. Smith. It just never really happened. So in the late 90s when I was there, I was, registered as a music major, and they hoped to get the music program there like in that spring or that fall. But again, it affected a lot of us, and it affected a lot of the people in the band because you didn't have that level of musicianship to hang your hat on or to hang those resources on. That level of musicianship just was not in the building. And it hindered, us taking the band to the next level. And that's just kind of the constant battle of how it is at Johnson C. Smith. Shout out to Mr. Gray, who did the best he could with the resources allowed. But Johnson C. Smith is just not tripping off having a band. That's just the bottom line. Seeing what Miles College has done, Smith just doesn't want to do that. Miles College didn't have even a building on campus like Willie Snipes Jr. is talking about. But now they've created an infrastructure down there at Miles that's employing a lot of people and bringing a lot of students into their program and into their school. Smith just does not want to do that. So I understand now the administration is continuing to distance itself essentially from the band. So it's kind of sad to see that happen to the IIOS. I would love to see if Smith had the heart, and those people deserve to have a winner, at that school for all the people that marched all those years at that band trying to hope that maybe later in the future, it would be something. I think in 99, it was a good culmination of a good year of, some hard work. But still, it just hasn't sustained itself throughout the years. So essentially Buck was one of those musicians there in the band. And I didn't bring this up in the interview, but he actually wrote a song for the band. I don't know if he remembers. Well, I'm sure he remembers, but it's the D'Angelo song. I can't remember the name, but it's the joint that played when Mia was cheating on Morris Chestnut and the Best Man. Whatever that song is. It's got some words in the chorus. You know what I'm saying? That song. Cheating on Morris Chestnut and Best Man. Whatever that song is, Buck wrote that song. And I don't think we ever played it, but I remember him introducing it to the band. And funny enough, because I'm almost talking myself out of this intro, Craig Martin, shout out to Brother Craig. We did a Chopping It Up with Craig, and funny enough, they too are from a similar background. We'll find that out in the interview. But those were the two that actually came to me after that year at Smith and told me that I basically was playing out of tune. Later found out it was the actual mouthpiece that I had. Shout out to my crowd brother Troy Milton up there in Detroit, who will never, ever let me forget about the mouthpiece I came to Jackson State with and how bad that was. But those veterans there at Smith recognized that I needed that musical help. So I remember Buck actually sat down and tried to give me theory lessons, if you will, and I still needed those applied lessons. So, again, that's all part of the reasons why I transferred, just not having those resources. But I remember Buck was the one trying to at least help me get through some of this musician stuff. And I have to shout out to you, Buck. I think about you so much every time I see this book, but I am going to mail it to you as soon as I can. During these little theory sessions I had with Buck, I remember his face when he said, "Don't lose this book. I need this book back." But Buck gave me a book, and I don't even know if he remembers it. It's the second edition, Rudiments of Music, Ottman and Manius. Second edition, Robert Ottman and Frank D. Manius, or whatever. Rudiments of Music. Buck, this is your book, and brother, I have been meaning to send this back to you for like 15 years, brother. So I am going to send this back to Buck, but this is just a token of my appreciation. Again, this is someone trying to teach me that theory, where I ended up later on transferring to Jackson State and then transferring out of music altogether, because then that's what actually showed me how inept I was to be a music major. But shout out to Buck, shout out to Craig, who's actually breaking down to me that, yeah, Joe, you thought you were all that. And essentially, I kind of was there at Smith. And hey, I don't mean to brag, because it's not like we were like knocking bands down. But yes, I was definitely powerful, and I played loud and high. But maybe 80% of the time, it was out of tune. All right. So it is what it is. I corrected that, of course, in my career. But Buck and Craig were the ones that let me know. So we will get into how this musician, this guy that had that musicianship at Smith, how he later has evolved using those role model leadership skills into what he's doing today, which is essentially what we love to interview and talk to these people on the network, folks who are essentially giving that blood, sweat, and tears on the field, now being adults, being grown, and being effective, positive, productive citizens here in the country. So definitely shout out to Buck. Thanks again for all those musical innuendos and all that help. So we're going to definitely focus on Buck tonight. This will be a podcast where we will accept your calls at 718-664-6025. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com. Tweet us at marchingpodcast and follow our blog themarchingpodcast.com. If you are listening live and have a Blog Talk Radio account, you can log into the chat room and leave your comments there. Last and definitely not least, check out our website, themarchingpodcast.com. Let's take the time to hear from our sponsors this evening. Tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, The Edge One Productions, Block Band Music, bandhead.org, and hbcubands.com. Let's take the time to hear from them now.
Hello, this is Duncan C. Gray, Director of Bands at West Charlotte High School and proud graduate of Winston-Salem State University. You are chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out Bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
What up, bandheads? Are you looking for a talk show about HBCU marching bands? Well, look no further than the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast. Every Sunday during the football season at 8 p.m. Eastern, we recap the most intriguing battles of the weekend and give you, the listener, an opportunity to voice your opinion on the battle by calling into the show and talking with our panelists. Are you ready for the only interactive show in the world for HBCU marching bands? Then check us out Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. The 90 Degree Show, the interactive HBCU band podcast show.
Whoa. Okay, my name is Samuel Glover, graduate of John C. Smith University, class of 2001. I was a member of the John C. Smith University marching band. My area of expertise was percussion and leadership. Right now, you're just chopping it up on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back, and we're ready to chop it up with Anthony K. Buckson. Again, if you would like to call in, you can do so at the number you see there on your screen, 718-664-6025, and we'll take those calls at the conclusion of the interview. So now, without further ado, Anthony K. Buckson.
Yeah.
You're now here with the Marching Podcast, and we got another outstanding guest, Mr. Anthony K. Buckson. What's going on today, sir?
Man, nothing, man. Just trying to survive out here in this world.
I heard that. Well, we sure appreciate your time. We're excited to have you on. One of the mentors.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to be here, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man, definitely. We definitely want to let the folks know what you're doing, especially, you know, as you working with kids and, you know, the younger generation and all that. So let's get right into it. I'll see. you don't mind the listeners, I'm gonna call you Buck throughout the, just because it's hard for me to be like, all right, Anthony. I'm looking at my notes, and it's like hard for me to read it like that. I'll mess up if I say it. So
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Just let it roll. Just let it roll off your tongue, man.
Right.
Like the old days.
Right. So where you from, man?
Man, I'm originally from Columbia, South Carolina. But I'm born and bred, kind of raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. That's where I reside right now.
Okay. Now, are your folks originally from South Carolina and that area around there?
No, my father's originally from New York. My mom is a military chick, so she moved around a lot. She was born in Ohio.
Oh. Okay.
So I guess they met in school at South Carolina State University. And, here we are now.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool, man. Now, do you know if your folks marched in the band or anything like that?
No, neither one did. My dad was a sociology major, and my mom was a fine arts major. So they kind of artsy, kind of arts and craft kind of family.
Right. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So now you growing up there in South Carolina, what would you say was your first, I always ask people either what was your first instrument, your first music experience. Folks down south, they have so many most of the time, but what would you say, I guess, was your first, musical experience?
Oh, well, I wanted to play drums bad, so I was taking private lessons on the drums between my 5th and 6th grade year, hoping that I would be on the drum set when I got to middle school, but the band director, Mr. Al McLean, God rest his soul, say, hey, here, boy, here go this trombone, play this trombone right here, because, he had like 11 million drummers, right. So, he handed me that trombone, put the mouthpiece to my lips, told me to buzz, and it was love ever since after that. So, 6th grade was that year that kind of really made me the musician I am. So I kind of appreciated him for that, because I didn't want to become a number in the drum set. Mm-hmm. The trombone, we kind of stand out. So, that was my first experience with the music thing.
Okay. Now, you being there in South Carolina, you are exposed, of course, to, the show style marching, the HBCUs and all that stuff like that. What would you say was your first, wow, did you see South Carolina State first?
Yes, it was a South Carolina State Howard game. It was a homecoming game.
Okay.
And, it was like, I was already familiar with, because most people in my band, my high school band, they graduated and went to South Carolina State. So I was they always come back and all this and that. But when we went down there as a band, we took the high school band down there, and I saw the South Carolina State Band, and then I always remember the Howard University show they did. That's when the California Raisins was out, right? And they had the Raisins dancing on the field, and oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing. That was my first experience that I really remember. Was like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. That was nice.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you think probably originally you wanted to go to South Carolina State, you think?
No, I don't want to go where everyone else was going. I wanted to go somewhere else and make a name for myself. If I was going to go to South Carolina State, I was going to be another little Ron Westray, which was my section leader at Keenan, W.J. Keenan in Columbia, when I was coming up. And so if I was going to go there, everyone was going to call me Lil Westray, and I didn't want that. So I wanted to go somewhere and make a name for myself, which I think I kind of accomplished at John C. Smith University.
Right. That's what's up. Okay, so I got a little ahead. So you say then you saw that. Then what high school did you then go to?
I went to W.J. Keenan High School in Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay, that's another famous high school we had.
That's another, we're stretching out. My band, we call it the Marching Keenan Raider Rubber Band, stretching out. We stretched out because we did it all. We chord style, we high step, we danced, we did all that. So, that's why we stretched the limits of a band and make sure, we covered all. You couldn't put us in one category as far as what we do. We covered it all. We stretched it out.
That's cool. That's cool because, we've had Craig, brother Craig
Oh,
Martin,
yes.
had him on the show.
Oh, yes.
Another Keenan, and we got another Keenan graduate. I don't want to ruin it for the listeners, but another brother actually met him, I think, through Block Band Music. And the brother said he's listening to the show, and then he started naming you and some other folks. I'll tell you offline who it is. But he was like, man, what?
Yeah.
I was like, you know all them? He said, man, I went to Keenan. I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah,
so,
man, Keenan, boy, we bred the musicians, man. We bred, them band folks like that. It was just so lovely, man. The love up there was, at the school was just so great. And that tradition, you talk about folks moving on in music and folks going to higher level of education in it and everything, and just that support, man, it's there, man. It's there.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah. So you then led into my next question then, as far as, what you guys did, what was your style, but you said you guys did everything. You did core and you did high step.
Oh yeah, that was it, because when we went to competitions, we went to mainly core style competitions. But we still danced, we still, did what we did because we was an original. We wanted to be set apart from everybody else. So we stressed to them, and we showed them that we can do their style and our style. We wasn't you couldn't just put us in a box and say, here you go. No, we more catered towards the crowd, and that was our main focus first. Let's get the crowd first and worry about the judges second.
Right. That's pretty cool, because most folks is one or the other. That's basically, when I asked, was you core style, whatever. Not a lot of folks do both. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, that's what's up, man. So who was your band director there when you were there at high school at W.J. Keenan?
Willie E. Lyles. We call him Uncle Willie.
Now,
Willie Lyles.
Okay. I'm trying to think of Lyles. Now, is he still there, or is he the director somewhere else now?
Nah, I think he retired.
Oh, okay.
He still works with the jazz band in South Carolina State.
Oh, about to say, I heard that name before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Lyles is a legend, man. He was a charter member of Kappa Psi, South Carolina State.
Oh, okay.
And he bred so many musicians, man. He touched so many lives, though, in a sense. That man, he's an amazing man, man. That's one of my mentors. One of my mentors.
Well, that's cool. That's what's up. So, so you there at Keenan, and y'all destroying folks. You got, you can't put them in the box. Y'all laying it down. So it's time for Buckmaster to decide where he wants to go to college. Now, you done already kind of told us, because I sure can relate. My family, all of them went to Jackson State, and I was like, man, I want to make my own name. So where did you end up going? What was in the thought process into that?
A guy named Alexander Wiggs, who went to Keenan as well, came, like I say, a lot of college people came back to school, and he brought this man named Duncan C. Gray down there for a visit during one of my jazz band classes. We talked. I kind of played for him a little bit, and he kind of kept in touch throughout the year, making sure I was, taken care of, making sure I was all right, and on course to graduate. Just that care and that love that he put behind that emphasis that he put behind that was that individual attention that he gave his recruits was crucial, man. I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to be a number at South Carolina State, just to go there and just to get their numbers up, but because Smith was a small band, it was tiny compared to South Carolina State, but you want to go somewhere where you want to make a difference and not just be a number in the crowd. So, that's a choice I made. I like the individual attention. I like the small aspect of the school. I like the individual attention as far as the band director gave me. So it was a real welcome experience.
Okay, that's cool, man. Because definitely, I can relate to that since we marched together, and that was the difference between that and Jackson State was it was definitely more of the family, where, like you said, the individual attention, where I kicked it with Corey and Steve, and everybody played a different instrument. But definitely back when I was at Jackson State, you know, I rode with McFadden, you know, I rode with Ron Duplass. I
Right.
rode the dudes who was like right there in my section because the band was so
Right.
big. You know what I'm saying? So, so definitely I can, you know, relate to that, and definitely, you know, we, because that kind of rolls right into my next question. What was your most memorable experience marching there at Johnson C. Smith?
Whoa, most memorable? It's a lot of memories, man. But I would say the most memorable would probably be the Pennies from Heaven Marchathon. We tried to raise money to go to Spain, and we marched. I forgot how many miles, man. It was all around Charlotte, but you know, it was on the news. It was all this and that, but you know, people's feet were hurting. Feet was hurting, swell up afterwards, but you know, that was, you know, it just showed us that how well we can come together, and you know, it took all of us to kind of do it, man. It was a real special event for the band.
Okay, so you guys did a march to raise money or whatever?
Yeah, it was called Pennies from Heaven Marchathon, and we was it was a Band to Spain campaign. And, you know, we got a lot of community support from Bojangles and Foot Locker and some other small, you know, like TV stations and stuff like that. And so, you know, we tried to go to Spain. The band, before I got there, the previous year, they went to Ireland. And so that's how they kind of got, that's how they got the name with the International Institution of Sound, because we're international. We go across seas, you know, and show what we have. And so we tried it again in, I believe, in 92, 93, something like that. And we didn't quite make it there, but it did bring the band closer together. It shows who's really down for the band, even without scholarships and, you know, all that money. That Smith band was a real family type environment, man. I loved it to death. To this day, a lot of my Smith band people still keep in contact.
Yeah, it definitely was. Smith definitely was that family. That makes me think, because I did an interview with Mr. Gray, and he talked about 1990, Smith going to Ireland and, you know, doing their thing out there. So, yeah, so you say 92, 93, you guys tried again. And that's interesting, too, because I think that when I was there in 96, we went to, like, the March of Dimes or something. We were doing something else to raise some money.
Right.
But that was something that was really interesting, too. That's kind of what I was rolling into, our experience at Smith. You know, we did a lot of those.
March-throughs.
Yeah, man. We didn't do that at Jackson State, man, but those were fun, man.
Yeah, but that's Mr. Gray getting us out there in the community, you know what I mean, and giving back, plus raising money for the band, you know, and a lot of things that we need and what we need to do. That's just his connection with the community.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I remember a couple of times, man, we were in like a boardroom or something, or like some type of like hotel room, and we did something for a meeting. Or remember, we did on 24 Showtime, boom, boom. We was in a hotel. We was in a hotel room doing that, man. I was like, wow, but it was fun, you know, because we would meet up. It was during class. We were like, all right, y'all, meet in the band room at 3:00. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We got a 10-minute march through. It'll take 10 minutes. You know, one of them things.
Right. That's cool.
Oh my God.
So did you do those every year? Because that was 96. Did you do those the prior years before I got there? Every year?
The march throughs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always did the march through. It was one. I don't think I ever missed a march through except one time. I remember Mr. Gray saying that too. It was like the first march through you ever missed, you know, and something like that. Me and my wife Alicia, you know, we both missed the same march through. And then it was like the first time we ever missed it. And it seemed strange because we see the bus pulling off and we ain't on it. We on our way to class and we ain't on it. It was like, it just felt kind of weird, you know. But we always doing the march to me, man. Always.
And we did them for not only a lot of the local business, but we did them for the Hornets, too. And all the local sports
We did
teams.
it for the Panthers.
Yep.
When they broke ground on the Panthers Stadium, we was there. Smith Band was there. We performed at the Panthers game, of course, the Hornets games on halftimes and stuff. Oh, he had us out there. He had us doing something.
And it was cool. I mean, it was really fun because we definitely bonded on all those. And also, too, for the listeners, I guess, to picture all of this, this was who Mr. Gray said, okay, who can do it based on outside of your studies, outside of class, your job.
Right.
So sometimes, you know, we had 2 trumpets and, you know, we had a saxophone. It was just like a little crap shoot of folks from the band. But it was fun. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let's do it. Let's get out there. It don't matter. Let's do it.
Right. So that's what's up, man. So that's what's up. So outside of the walkthroughs, because I actually have one I wanted to bring up on the air with you. Do you have a memorable battle against another band experience that comes to your mind?
Yeah. Oh, man, yes. One that almost made me leave where I was. You know, Smith was small. This was like, I think it was my second year. Smith was small, okay? And we went up to Norfolk State. And so, you know, we got off the bus. We stand at parade rest with our little buffalo helmets on from the Flintstones, you know, buffalo helmets. And then we hear somebody yell down from the stands, "Well, all buffalo soldiers, please rise." And we was like, oh, man, it's going to be a long day, man, a long day. Then we went on the field. We went first, okay? We did a great show, which we always do. And then Norfolk State comes on, and they play these 3 words. Oh, the Stevie Wonder, these 3. Oh, man, they held that note out so long, and I was like, oh, my God. I was taking off my uniform like I can't take it no more. Oh, man. And we went to Bethune-Cookman. We went down there to Daytona Beach. Oh, you know, once again, Smith, compared to any other school that's from the SWAC, MEAC, whatever, Smith is like, you know, in comparison, like 30 people. You know what I mean? In dramatic comparison. Because they got like 200, and we got like 98, 110, you know what I mean? Them kind of numbers. So, man, we went down to Bethune-Cookman, man, and, boy, them boys blew so hard. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And that was my first time ever seeing. I think Bethune's in the MEAC, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and that was really my first time really seeing them and really, you know, seeing a band while I'm inside a band or the college band. And, boy, them boys blew. Them in Norfolk State, them memories right there, when they played these 3 words, when Norfolk State played three words, boy, I was, woo! It was emotional. It was emotional. It was like Stevie was on the field, man. I'm telling you, it was. Them boys blew that, boy. I'm telling you. Oh man,
that's pretty tight. And what year was that?
That had to be about 93.
Okay.
93.
Okay.
Yep.
That's cool, man. Cause I got a couple with you per se. Was 96. We went and marched with South Carolina State.
Yeah.
And they pretty much took an L because we pretty much were zoned in that week. That entire week of practice, we were serious. It was like the end all see all. And that Friday night we was hyped up before we left. But they just really slept on us, man. They just were not expecting us to have a show. And it was fun.
They did. It's all about that energy we brought, that high speed, that high pace, that straight give it to you.
Yep.
You know, that 5 minutes, 50 seconds of funk, whatever we called it. It was ooh. It was it. That drive, and that's what a lot of bands missing now, man. They don't have that drive. We had that drive, man. We couldn't step out that hole without going somewhere. I'm telling you.
Right, having that purpose in each step, that means a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, it means a lot, especially when you smaller, you know, you got to come with it like that.
Yeah, that energy, man. You got to make somebody, I remember marching a lot of times, man. I say 90% of the time that I can always find somebody in the stands that's pointing at me like, look at that dude right there, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, man. I can tell you some stories where we standing at parade rest on the sideline. And another one of my band was from Keenan, Mark Gibson, who marched with me from from Keenan, was with me at Smith too. He standing beside me and was staring at me like, man, I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm about to make you look real bad, man. Just trying to get each other crunk up and, you know what I mean, get each other hype and do the best so that you can, man. It was that friendly competition, man, because you don't want the person next to you making you look bad. That's not the question.
Right. Because,
oh, yeah.
at Jackson State, again, like, it was definitely that contrast where, at Smith, we were, like, going over the top, full energy, running through. You didn't sleep, full caffeine. And then at Jackson State, it was, I remember they were trying to drive it into us, when you were a freshman, like, drive, you got to pull your knees up. But, man, Jackson State was laid back, man. They were, like, chill in the cut as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? So it was two different things, man. But yeah, that's definitely what I remember. And all the PTs at band camp before, it was definitely much more of the Army style, Navy SEALs band camp. You know what I'm saying? At Smith,
Oh yeah, I loved it though, man. It taught you what it taught you about life, man. It taught you about hard work, man. I appreciate every minute of it. If I can do it again with the same folks, I'll do it again. I'm telling you. Hands down, no problem.
That's cool, man. So there in college, what was your major?
I was a music education major.
Okay. Now, did you aspire to be a band director or, be a music teacher or something?
You know what? I did, and I had an opportunity to be that. But, it's funny how, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And I got this job at the YWCA, as a camp counselor, working with kids for summer camp. And here's the funny thing about that, too, is Chris Jones, another one of my band's mate, he was working for the YWCA as a lifeguard. He came back to school, was like, yo, they hiring for camp counselors at this program. College kids, they need jobs. So first thing we did, went, filled out an application, I got hired, and then after that, I've been working with kids ever since, man. It had about 96, 97.
Wow.
I've been working with kids ever since. But the band prepared me for all that.
Mm-hmm.
All the discipline, the patience, all that, integrity, all that. That band taught me all that. And I could have saw myself as a band director, but, like I say, the Lord works in mysterious ways. He put me in the right place where I needed to be at to make a difference in really some little kids' lives, man. So I love it to death, man. I can do it. If I can do working with kids 24/7, I'll do it 24/7.
That's cool. So essentially, it's essentially the same thing. You were being in the band or just, dealing with kids, helping their development or whatnot. So, but I didn't know you've been in it for so long. So at first, what was the first thing that you did? Were you in an after school program?
It was summer camp.
Oh, summer
camp.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just a regular camp counselor, just a rookie camp counselor. First time even. Well, I worked with kids before because when Mr. Grace used to take me to work with band camps, high school band camps.
Mm-hmm.
So, I dealing with kids and working with kids, but these was a little younger kids, elementary and middle school. But, that was my first experience, and I enjoyed it. I see the difference that I made in the kids' lives from day to day. So it kind of sparked something, and from there it just took off. I just progress from there and develop my skills from there.
And you've been with the YWCA ever since that time?
No. I was with the YWCA for about 12 years.
Okay.
Then I moved on to the YMCA for about 3 years. And then now I'm with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Charlotte, and I've been with them for 8 years. Let's say 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, and it's pretty much the same capacity. You basically working with kids.
Right. I run an after school and a summer camp program. And now what I do, my club is unique because my club is in a homeless shelter. So my club is the only Boys and Girls Club in the nation that's in a homeless shelter here in Charlotte. It's called the Center of Hope.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're under the Salvation Army. So it's the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club at the Center of Hope.
Wow. Okay. And where in Charlotte is that? Is that downtown?
Yeah, it's close to Uptown. It's right off Graham. Yep.
Okay.
It's right there.
Uptown, for all the listeners that don't know about Charlotte, Uptown. You know what I'm saying?
We don't call it downtown because ain't nothing down about it. We up.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? They was before Lil Jon talking about turning up stuff. You know what I'm saying? They been uptown for a minute. That's when I was a little shorty because, you know, my mom was from Charlotte and she was saying that.
Yeah.
I could never pick onto that, you know. But, that's what's up.
Yeah, in Columbia, we call it downtown, too. So when I got up here, too, and they were saying uptown, I was, okay.
Right. The signs up saying and everything. Man, I'm practicing that. But you rolled out. You a veteran. You've been there so long. You just came out with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's cool. That's what's up, man. So there, I want to ask you because I remember when I was there after I finished grad school looking for work, I was living in Charlotte there for a while. I was helping you coach a basketball team.
Yes.
You still coach sports? And how long did you coach sports?
I coached sports for about maybe about 7 or 10 years, man. I've been coaching. I've been coaching AU, Park and Rec. I took a year off this year because I got a 3-year-old daughter now I wanted to spend some time with. Wow. So, but I took a year off. I just wanted to, gather myself, get my stuff back together so I can spend some time with her. Right.
That's cool. That's what's up, man. And has it always been basketball?
Always been basketball. Always been basketball.
That's
nothing
cool.
else.
Because, you're in the basketball country. You know what I'm saying? Out there in North Carolina. That's a seriousness, man.
Oh, yeah. I will say something about them Duke Blue Devils, but I'm not a Duke fan. I'm more of a Tar Heel man.
There's so many folks that say that, too, because myself, man, I didn't really know who to pull for. I just didn't know if I wanted to pull for Wisconsin because I wanted to see Duke and Kentucky. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, me too. I did too. But oh well, my bracket was messed up from week one, round one.
Well, that's what's up, man. Boy. That's what's up, man. So you've been that time. Could you tell us before, because we're not at the end, but what has been the most memorable experience working with kids for you?
Oh, man. Well, it happened, from where I'm working at now, the turnover for the kids is real great because they can stay there anywhere between 1 week to 3 months to 6 months to 9 months. You never know when they will be leaving or when they find a living situation, when they get back on their feet. So I'm at a conference in Tennessee, and I'm on my way back. I get a call from my program aide that a certain family is leaving, and and the hard thing you can do, man, is not being able to tell the kids, bye, I miss you, I love you, let me know if, I don't get that chance a lot. So one of my members, which I call her my favorite, you're not supposed to have favorites, but look, she was my favorite, okay? So they was leaving, and I wasn't there to tell them bye. So she wrote me a note and put it on my desk inside of a seashell. And she said, in this note, in the seashell, you can hear my voice. P.S. I took one of your suckers. I still have this note to this day. I cried at my desk for about 10 minutes. I'm talking about boo-hoo, son. Right. But just for her to even think about it, you know what I mean? Think about writing me that note, putting it in that shell. You know what I mean? Just that consideration, man, was just, dog, that you never know. And I tell my folks this, like, you never know the impact that you have on a child's life from day to day. You never know when that light bulb is going to cut on. Something that you're going to say, something that you're going to do is going to be that light bulb for them. And then they're going to, 20 years from now, they're going to look back and say, boy, I remember when Mr. Anthony said this thing to me right here. Mm-hmm. And that really changed who I was. You know what I mean? The same way I had mentors growing up that, Mr. McLean, Freddie Grace, Duncan C. Gray, Willie Lyles, all them folks had that influence on my life. It's something they said during our little passive meeting that they said that made a difference on my life, made me choose the pathway I needed to choose. And same way I look at it working with these kids. It's just, you never know impact. You never know when it's going to come.
Yeah, man. And that's why I started a podcast. I was trying to emphasize people like you so we could tell, the youth stuff like what you just said and so they could hear it, definitely right. So we could reiterate things. I definitely want, to get more kids out here in California to go and either march in the band or, go to more HBCUs, but now I'm hearing that, they don't stay. So it's like it's words right. like that now we need to, I guess, youth in any capacity, wherever school they go to, they need to hear things like that so they know that it's going to be okay and they can finish. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. So we're getting towards the end of the interview, and again, like I said, I really appreciate your time, man. Do you have any advice for the young people? Because I usually ask people at the end to say, hey, promote your business, or you have any advice for young people. But since you already working with young people, do you have advice for them, or, what do you usually tell them as far as now having the national audience, of course?
Whoa, well, it's a big stage to talk on that. I would encourage the young people to find mentors. Find somebody that you can really, really depend on and really lean on, whether it's positive or negative feedback. Take constructive criticism, being able to accept that. Respect is probably the most important thing that you can do. Respect and communication, which I preach a lot to my kids, is important in your upbringing. And I tell them a lot of times, let your passion drive you, let your focus get you to your destination. Be passionate about what you do, love what you do. Let your passion drive you and let your focus get you to your destination. Don't let nothing deter you from where you're trying to go. That's called your focus. So that's what I tell my kids all the time, man. I love them to death, and I love what I do, man.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. And do you have any events or anything that's upcoming that the listeners need to know about or anything like that?
Nothing upcoming. We're gearing up for summer camp. We just got finished with spring break here in Charlotte. I would say just look me up in Charlotte if you can. Look up the Salvation Army Greater Charlotte Center of Hope Boys and Girls Club if you can. You can look me up. I'm on Facebook. You can, if we want to conversate some more, you can do that, Appreciate the time, man, and the love from you, man. Good hearing from you, too, brother.
Yeah, man, likewise, man. I definitely wanted to highlight what you're doing, like you say, working with kids and doing all that. I remember last time I was in Charlotte, I think those couple of, I guess maybe 2 or 3 years ago, you had just came back from a Heat game. This is, of course, when the Big Three was still together, of course. But you took some of your kids to the Heat game.
Right. We get donations from the community like that a lot of times. So it was those opportunities there for the kids. They don't get that out, especially in my venue where I work at. They don't get that opportunity to see a lot of stuff like that.
Exactly.
We've been to the Knights game, which is happening today, which I'm not taking kids, but I'm here now. But my daughter is Jasmine is a cheerleader for the baseball team here, the Nightingales.
What were the Nightingales?
So, the Charlotte has that semi-pro baseball team, the Charlotte Knights.
No, I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, man. They moved the stadium from Fort Mill to Uptown Charlotte.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, it is beautiful. It's called the BB&T Ballpark.
What?
You can check out, and Jasmine. I know you know Jasmine.
Yeah.
She's a cheerleader for them.
Wow.
They call them the Nightingales. Look them up, man. Look them up. I'm trying to tell you. Jazz 20 years old, man. She grown up now.
Wow, she's 20?
Yeah,
wow.
brother.
I remember she was running around the little band hall, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
a trip.
But,
that's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool,
that's
man.
Right.
Well, I sure appreciate your time. I definitely, like I said, I'll be in contact with you, especially after, I do the interview with the folks and after they archive. Yeah. It always helps out. Or, if you ever need to do the interview or send it somewhere, I always send it. But I always have it on Facebook, and the link for this show will always be for this show continuously. So you could always use it. Yeah, so it'll work out pretty cool.
All right, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, man. I sure appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time, man.
All right, man. You're welcome anytime, man. Hit me up sometime.
All right. We chopped it up there with Anthony K. Buckson there. We go ahead, nice little round of applause there. I like, running a round of applause after our interviews. I think that's a nice little good luck charm, if you will. But thanks to him, thanks to Anthony K. Buckson for his time. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we will give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. Again, you're welcome to call in during the last commercial break before we sign off for the night. 718-664-6025. Call in to talk about the good old IIOS or talking about our time with Buck there in 96. Brought back a lot of good memories, which is always the positive thing as far as when we're doing these shows. It's just the recall with folks. And, it's hard to actually sit down and a.k.a. chop it up, if you will, even with your friends from old back in the day. You start to get old, and I'm sure everyone can appreciate this. When you old and have your family and stuff, you pretty much go home and after you go to work, and that's it. I mean, not that you don't like anybody or not that, you don't want to holler at people, but, man, after work at the end of the day, you pretty much just go home, and that's pretty much it. You don't feel like picking up the phone and dialing or even getting into something or getting into a whole conversation, you know what I mean? So I've said this over and over, but it's great to have the show so that I'm able to touch base with folks and, hear where folks are from and all that. But, again, you can call in and express yourself again. We'll play the last sponsorship break here to hear from our beloved sponsors here before the last block of the interview. So, again, if you would like to go ahead and give us a call, we'll hear from our sponsors here one last time before we sign off.
This is Chris Jones, owner, creator, and founder of March Aerobics. I'm just chopping it up with the Marching Podcast Network. Now get your sticks running.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity. Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556.
What up, bandheads? Are you looking for a talk show about HBCU marching bands? Well, look no further than the 90 Degree Show, brought to you by the Marching Podcast. Every Sunday during the football season at 8 p.m. Eastern, we recap the most intriguing battles of the weekend and give you, the listener, an opportunity to voice your opinion on the battle by calling into the show and talking with our panelists. Are you ready for the only interactive show in the world for HBCU marching bands? Then check us out Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. The 90 Degree Show, the interactive HBCU band podcast show.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on Bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. Bandhead.org, a social network for bands.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
From photo shoots to graduation pictures, from probates to band footage, from pageants to yard shows, there's only one team you can count on, the Edge One Productions. Visit theedge1.com and trust me, you won't be disappointed.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966, and you're chopping it up here on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, we're back, and I don't see any calls here in the queue, so we can go ahead and probably start our exit music. Again, we want to thank Mr. Anthony K. Buckson for his time. Again, if you want to become a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show. We'll give you the criteria. We can start to pub your business using our platform. So contact us so we can help build your business. All right. Shout out to the IIOS. Shout out to Mr. Duncan C. Gray. I know he's out there. Shout out to all the folks, again, that I marched with there at 96 Smith. I know that it's still a part of me, of course, and I know that I claim Jackson State a whole lot more. But definitely being a part of Smith, and I'm sure being a part of all these bands, smaller bands, is definitely worthwhile. And we're excited to have like the bands like Livingstone and all coming up. It's a whole lot of news in the band world. So we'll try our best to go over that when we start doing the 90 Degree show next month. Band directors fired. Band directors hiring lawyers. You got new band directors in some spots. You got a lot of stuff kind of popping right now in HBCU marching band news. So we'll definitely be kind of touching base on that in the future. But again, shout out to the IIOS and Johnson C. Smith and all those grads and all the folks. Everybody's doing well, doing their thing. We don't have the same type of reminiscence, if you will, with tapes and talking noise about what Smith is doing now, per se. But it's definitely good to reach out to all those folks. A lot of people doing a lot of good things, and you'll be hearing from all those here on the Marching Podcast Network. So shout out to you, Buck. We'll be hearing more folks from the outstanding IIOS here in the future on the network. And I'm sure that you will be here listening with us as well. That's all the time we have tonight for the show. Again, thanks, Buck, for his time. Check out the website, Donate What's in Your Heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.